All right, welcome back to the FreightWaves TV stage. I'm Daniel Pickett. I lead the technology and data teams at Sonar. I'm here with Ari Silke, who has had a multi-decade career throughout tech, has been at Amazon almost a decade, and recently stepped into the Amazon Freight leadership role now, taking on, as one of the world's foremost tech companies, now a massive retailer globally. Welcome to Chattanooga, to your first F3, Ari. We're excited to have you here. Tell me a little bit about, your transition into the transportation world and what attracted you to this opportunity, and why is now the time to be jumping into transportation tech?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. And excited to be here at my first time at FreightWaves, actually my first time in Chattanooga. So I'm excited to see the town a little bit today. I think transportation is a really interesting industry that is getting evolved relatively quickly with the use of technology. And at Amazon, as we knew we had this need to scale at a pretty rapid pace, we lead with technology and have built a transportation network that has grown with us rapidly over the last decade and enabled us to meet the needs of our customers, both our internal customers and also our external customers that are leveraging our network. And I think the combination of technology, which is hardware, software, IoT, Internet of Things, and data science, bringing that together really make a significant impact on how we can efficiently deliver from customers. And you've seen the evolution, from relatively slow delivery times to same-day delivery times.
That's amazing. It is, you've got a background in some IoT and some startups, which Amazon at one time was a plucky little startup with a wooden door for a desk, and now one of the largest retailers. I think it's really interesting how you guys bring a tech startup kind of way of thinking into the transportation space. And like you said, there's been an explosion of interesting investment in freight tech, if you will. I guess walk us through Amazon Freight, because I know that with AWS, it grew out of internal operations. Hey, we've got to run a lot of servers to run the world's biggest e-commerce site. We're pretty good at this. Why don't we sell it to other people? We at Sonar make extensive use of Amazon Web Services, so it's working out well. Now, Amazon Freight's a similar story, right? And it was purely for the e-commerce site, but from that has grown the partners network and your relay service. So talk a little bit about that evolution from we've got to be good at this for ourselves to hey, we can offer a compelling opportunity to the rest of the industry.
Absolutely, and it did follow has followed a very similar path to Amazon Web Services, our cloud services business. Thank you for your business, by the way.
It works.
Where we had a really large need for internal purposes to support the e-commerce business, and then we're able to evolve that into a service we could offer to everyone and serve a bunch of other purposes beyond the core Amazon business. Transportation we looked at very similar. When I joined in 2016, we had a lot of challenges to solve in our transportation network to scale it efficiently and improve the customer experience of both speed and reliability in the network.
And no pressure when we start Prime. Everybody's going to get 2 days.
Exactly, Prime, yeah. And we've been talking about drones for a long time and a bunch of that. And we methodically looked at how to build this network from the core transportation platform forward as a technology company at heart, kind of grew into a transportation organization. And so the brands that you see here today were ideas and business plans 8 years ago that we've evolved into what is now Amazon Relay, what is now Amazon Freight Partners, and what is now Amazon Freight. And they kind of build off of one another. So Amazon Relay is our core technology platform. We have a mobile application that drivers and carriers use. We have a portal that carriers interface with. And we have a bunch of different technology that we've built into our tractors, trailers, and other sensors to drive the inputs to really pull the network together and deliver on the reliability and speed and safety that we have. And also a load board, our Relay load board application is how trucking companies can interface with us to take loads and drive and execute those. And then the Amazon Freight Partner Network is something we evolved to over a few years after we began, of actually creating a network of carriers from entrepreneurs, creating small businesses that haul freight for Amazon. They're Amazon tractors, they're using our Amazon trailers, but they're independent companies that are doing work for us super reliably at scale, really nicely, and it's a foundational portion of our overall supply business for our network. And then Amazon Freight is a culmination of bringing all those services together very similar to AWS. We're pretty proud of the transportation network that we've built for our Amazon consumer customers, and we want to open that up to others, allow others to use the same technology, the same tool, the same capacity that we've built up. We have over 60,000 trailers in our network, over 20,000 intermodal containers, and growing fast in all segments. And really excited about sharing those services out with other companies as well.
Yeah, and I mean, through the pandemic, that on-ramp for small businesses to start carrying, when in 2020 we tried to do 50% more parcels than we did the year before, that's somebody's got to help an on-ramp for all those new drivers. So that was very helpful. Talk a little bit about the challenge of, you have a largely software background, a little bit of IoT, and when we sit online and we order something, we say, it's in Memphis, now it's coming to Chattanooga. It seems so nice and orderly, and before I joined the industry, I thought it was. It is not. The physical world of transporting things is wild and messy and full of exceptions. Talk a little bit about how Amazon is attacking that and giving all of us users that beautiful, seemingly smooth experience despite the real world of flat tires and missed pickups and closed roads and Lord knows what all.
Absolutely, no, totally true, and those will always happen. Flat tires will happen, breakdowns will happen, disruptions will happen on the road. And so we have, again, taken a really methodical point of view using technology to address each one of those situations. We can't solve for weather, we can't necessarily solve for flat tires, but we can mitigate those solutions and have redundancy plans to ensure the freight still gets to the customer on time. So an interesting example of that, with our trailer network that we own directly, we've put a large amount of technology on our trailer fleet over the last several years to get better inputs of what's going on, from tire inflation systems, tire pressure monitoring systems, cameras, cargo sensors, GPS tracking solutions, and a variety of other technology that we put on our trailers because we want and really need real-time visibility that's what's happening at every leg of our supply chain. So whether it's in one of our buildings, in one of our docks, over the road, we know what's going on with the freight, we know the status, and that allows us to read and react. So our tire inflation system mitigates tire from going flat. Our tire pressure sensor monitoring system tells us when it's going flat, and then we can deploy another trailer or take action to make sure we still deliver the freight in the time manner that we want to.
Yeah, and that's great because as you guys make these big investments that a small trucking company would normally not be able to make, you still have access to that huge pool of available carriers, but with the kind of with the technology and the readiness of a much larger organization. So I mean, we can't really talk about the future of technology and transportation or anything lately without talking about AI. So obligatory AI prompt here, but I see certainly. I mean, we're using AI at Sonar, but I see a lot of hype out there too, and I see. There's maybe some of what's just looking for attention, and then there's some really, truly powerful, meaningful results that are happening. What are you guys doing? Where do you see AI making big improvements in transportation?
Yeah, absolutely. A ton of AI initiatives across the world, of course. A ton of AI initiatives across Amazon and various different groups. I think over the fullness of time, AI is going to make a massive impact, on the world and on transportation. I think in the near term, we've looked for opportune spots where we can use the technology, whether it's large learning models, paired with AI, to get access to the right information as fast as possible to keep our network flowing optimally. So one example of that in our carrier support center, where they're dealing with disruptions, that happen from flat tires and other things, getting access to the right information, knowing how to troubleshoot a problem and getting that truck back on the road or a new capacity dispatch is a hard challenge to solve. We've automated pieces of it, but it still requires a high degree of human judgment to make a really quick decision to get things moving again. And there we've used AI and we've created specific tools for our operators there to get access to that information as fast as possible with the right information to make the right decision to keep the network going. I think it's a big step in the right direction that just yields good benefit as we work through larger AI initiatives that have even bigger impact.
Yeah, and so it sounds like you're saying you're not replacing the agents, you're just making them way more efficient.
Exactly.
I mean, we've seen the same thing in software development or data analysis where people said, oh my gosh, the ChatGPT is going to take away all the software developer jobs, and then when we put it into practice in the real world, we go, well, it takes away the tedious part of their job, but the really hard brain power stuff is still mostly human right now.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, you've seen a couple decades of change in IoT and small startup and big enterprise, and now are in a seat where you certainly are one of the world's foremost innovators. Look into the future for us. Peer into your crystal ball. What are we not even thinking about today that's going to change our lives and how we do business and how we move goods around the world 5 or 10 years from now? What ball are we not have our eye on that we should be thinking about right now?
Yeah, we're continuing to scale our network kind of across the board, more assets, more components of our network that'll help drive the growth across our core network as well as across our Amazon Freight customers, using technology to drive that, to innovate our way through really hard problems. I think, in an industry like this, it's been around a while, certain people just accept the way things are. We don't accept the way things are. We continue to try to invent and add technology to solve any problem that is out there. Sustainability has been a big focus for the company. It will continue to be a big focus for the company. We have the Amazon Climate Pledge of 2040 that we've been working on for several years, and we've made some big strides, although we have work to do there, of sustainable vehicles. So we have 13,500 electric vans in our last mile network. We've got over 3,000 CNG powered by RNG, renewable natural gas trucks in our middle mile network. And we are continuing to make strides to reduce our impact on the environment there and use that as part of our both strategic component across the company to reduce that, as well as our overall 2040 climate pledge. I think also branching into other parts of our network and externalizing is a really big opportunity for shippers out there. So we're moving into LTL network and opening up that aspect of our network. There was actually an article on FreightWaves last week on our air cargo network.
I saw it, yeah.
So opening up our air cargo capacity to other third parties as well. And so as we can continue to innovate and solve really hard problems for transportation, we're also going to continue to externalize those services through Amazon Freight and Amazon Cargo offerings to make that available to everyone.
Well, it's quite a pattern you guys have established here with, figure out how to meet our own needs and then, share this capability with everybody. Love the commitment to the planet, and I certainly see it on my doorstep. I've seen less of the plastic packaging. I'm seeing more paper come,
yep.
and then occasionally, like you said, the CNG or the electric vans. So it sounds like you guys are working on doing well by doing good. Love to see it. And you guys have a booth out here. So if people want to learn more about Amazon Freight, there's a booth out here. They've got a great team that'd love to talk to you. And one of my favorite things that happens at F3, Amazon Freight has sponsored at least, I know you did it last year and this year. I can't remember if you did it 2 years ago, but the aquarium. We'll be going down to Tennessee Aquarium tonight, which is a fantastic event. Do not miss it. Talk to the Amazon Freight people at the booth. Come to the aquarium that they've sponsored and tell them thank you because you're in for a really special treat tonight. All right, welcome Chattanooga. Thanks for coming to F3, and I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you. I've joined as well. Thanks,